In December 1944, in the ruined German city of Auten, this impossible scent became a reality. Hunger was constant for civilians like Anna Richter, a mother of two. Her 8-year-old daughter Lena tugged at her hand, drawn by the rich, smoky aroma. Aen was the first German city captured by Allied forces. Citizens were warned to avoid American troops, but the smell was irresistible. What made this moment even stranger was the silence in the streets. Aen had never been quiet before the war. Before 1941, mornings were filled with bicycles, market vendors, shopkeepers chatting. But now, the only sound was rubble shifting under boots and the distant rumble of artillery. Hunger had drained noise, color, and hope from everyday life. That made the scent of bacon even more unreal. It felt like something from a dream or a memory Anna barely retained. Rounding a debrised corner, Anna saw a United States Army field kitchen. American soldiers were not only cooking an abundance of food, they were serving it to German children. Plates overflowed with scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, and real white bread, casually handed to civilians by the very enemy. Goebbels' propaganda had taught them to fear and hate. Anna froze, unable to reconcile this reality with 12 years of indoctrination. She wasn't alone. Other Germans, thin as shadows, watched from behind collapsed walls and shattered windows. Some crossed themselves, some whispered, "A trap," some wept quietly. A few older men, still loyal to the Reich, hissed warnings. But hunger wins arguments, ideology never could. A young American lieutenant offered Lena a plate. "Für dich Klein," he said in broken German. Lena looked at her mother, eyes wide with hunger and confusion. In that moment, Anna's belief system began to crumble. She saw no cruelty, no mockery, just tired men, far from home, feeding children they didn't have to feed. One soldier even removed his helmet and placed it gently on a boy's head, making him laugh. The first time Anna had heard a child laugh in months. Her family had subsisted on meager rations for years. These barbarians fed their conquered enemies with casual generosity. Nazi propaganda had painted Americans as decadent, impoverished, morally bankrupt. They were technologically advanced, yet hollow. Goebbels emphasized contradictions: extreme wealth beside poverty, corruption, racial tensions. Germans were told American soldiers were poorly equipped, undisciplined, their abundance a myth, their military full of criminals. But Field Kitchen destroyed every lie within minutes. The Americans looked nothing like the posters. They were organized, well-supplied, confident. Their uniforms were clean. Their boots were good leather. Their rifles were new. Their vehicles ran without coughing black smoke. One soldier jokingly complained that the bacon was burnt, and another laughed, saying, "You think this is bad? Try my cooking back home." This normal, relaxed banter felt like a different universe. Germany's own situation reinforced this. By late 1944, civilians survived on severely restricted rations, often 1,700 calories daily. Meat was a luxury. Coffee was a substitute. Fresh fruit was a distant memory, replaced by rutabaga and potatoes. The battle for Aachen had left much of the city in rubble. The 1st Infantry Division's field kitchens, perhaps unintentionally, became powerful instruments of psychological warfare. Feeding hungry Germans demonstrated American abundance more effectively than any leaflet. Slowly, more civilians approached. Children first. Hunger breaks fear. Then mothers. Then old men trembling with shame and relief. The Americans gave food without asking questions, except one sergeant who joked, "You folks like eggs," which somehow made people laugh through tears. Anna's son Karl, 13, and indoctrinated by Hitler Youth, initially refused enemy food. His resistance lasted 7 minutes. Watching his sister, the sight and smell shattered his resolve. But what truly broke him was when an American cook offered him a second serving. A second serving. Something unheard of for years. Soon, Karl was asking soldiers, "Do you eat like this every day?" A sergeant laughed. "Kid, this is nothing. This is field rations. You should see what we eat back home." For Karl, those words triggered something deep and painful. The realization that everything Reich leaders preached about America being weak and poor was a lie. The concept of extra food was revolutionary. Germans had sacrificed. Americans, though rationing, had 10 times Germany's meat allowance, 8 times the sugar. Propaganda dismissed these disparities as lies. Now, the proof was on their plates, and on their lips, and in their stomachs. Anna later visited an American field hospital. It treated both U.S. soldiers and German civilians. Another propaganda contradiction. What struck her was the casual abundance. Antibiotics, clean bandages, anesthetics were used routinely. German hospitals washed and reused bandages until they disintegrated. The smell inside the American hospital was shocking. Warm blankets, disinfectant instead of rot. A German doctor whispered, trembling, "If we had half these supplies, half our wounded would still be alive. They have penicillin for ordinary infections," he whispered. "We haven't had penicillin for civilian use in 2 years." The American officer casually explained, "We've got supply lines running all the way back to Antwerp now. Whatever we need, we just put in a requisition." This casual confidence that anything needed would simply arrive was beyond comprehension. This nonchalance revealed a logistical reality German propaganda had claimed was impossible. Secure supply lines, moving tons of material daily across hundreds of kilometers. To Anna, seeing bandages freely used and thrown away felt like witnessing sorcery. Carl, his ideological resistance gone, spent time with American mechanics. He returned home, excited about the motor pool. "Mother, they have so many trucks, they don't even repair small damages." Anna didn't believe him until she saw it. A truck had a broken headlight, and they took a new one from a crate of spares. They didn't even try to fix the old one. Anna's visit confirmed it. Rows of jeeps, transports, road graders, mobile kitchens, repair vehicles, and every machine seemed to have endless fuel. "This is just one company's equipment," a quartermaster explained. "Each regiment has its own motor pool, and the 1st Infantry Division has dozens." Here, Anna realized the scale at last. Germany had been fighting giants with wooden swords. The scale was incomprehensible. Germans relied on horses. Americans casually operated vehicles for mundane tasks with endless fuel and parts. Even more shocking was the Americans' attitude towards equipment. Germans maintained everything meticulously. Americans treated equipment as easily replaceable. She watched a Jeep get stripped for scrap and pushed aside like an old toy. Minutes later, a brand new one rolled off a transport truck. By Christmas 1944, hundreds of Germans visited American facilities. The field kitchen was a community center. An American chaplain organized a Christmas celebration with candy and cigarettes. For many, it was the first adequate Christmas meal since 1941. The soldiers decorated a damaged wall with paper snowflakes. Children decorated a tree with ration tins and cloth scraps. Someone played a harmonica version of Silent Night. And for a moment, the war disappeared. Anna, now translating, saw crates of flour, sugar, coffee, eggs, bacon, chocolate, canned fruit. "This is a light shipment," the sergeant said. "Christmas is coming." A light shipment. In Germany, the word light meant starvation. To the Americans, it meant we're expecting more tomorrow. The Christmas delivery defied comprehension. Whole turkeys, hams, pies, real coffee. An American lieutenant casually mentioned identical deliveries were going to every American unit across Europe. Every GI gets turkey for Christmas. It's tradition. Tradition. Germany had forgotten the meaning of that word. For the first time, many Germans understood this war had been unwinnable from the beginning. The logistical implications were staggering. Hundreds of thousands of troops across a vast front, receiving holiday feasts, exceeding German peacetime dreams. This spoke to a fundamentally different scale of industrial and organizational capacity. It wasn't just power, it was confidence, a system built on plenty rather than fear. Refugees brought similar stories. Americans bulldozed rubble, rebuilt concrete bridges in days. "They pour concrete like it was water," exclaimed one. "Construction materials were unobtainable in Germany," one old man whispered. "I saw them build a bridge in 48 hours. It took us 6 months before the war." Captured, German officers reported being fed better in American POW camps, than their own army fed them. 3,200 calories daily, nearly double civilian rations. This contradiction, enemy prisoners eating better than loyal Germans, struck at the heart of Nazi claims about German supremacy. Many soldiers cried upon learning this, not from fear, but humiliation. The psychological transformation was profound. Karl, Anna's son, shed his Hitler Youth uniform for American cast-offs. "Germany has been lying to us," he proclaimed. And Anna, exhausted, grieving, starving, could no longer argue. Anna couldn't deny it. Older Germans struggled. "Quantity isn't quality," argued a former teacher. "German engineering is superior." But Anna had seen the truth. Quality loses to quantity when the quantity is overwhelming. Letters from this period revealed deep disillusionment. "The Americans set up a school for our children. 2 weeks after taking control," wrote one mother, "they brought desks, books, pencils, paper, materials we haven't seen in 2 years. They provide hot lunch." Meanwhile, Joseph writes, "His airfield has no fuel for training flights. How can we possibly win against this? And if we cannot win, why does the fighting continue?" The letters became confessions, quiet admissions of defeat. By March 1945, private doubt became public recognition. "They knew," declared a German civilian, Speer, "Goebbels, all of them. They must have known what America could produce. Yet they sent our sons to fight anyway." The betrayal cut deeper than defeat. This realization that Germany's leadership launched an unwinnable war shattered trust. The narrative of betrayal replaced victory. And in many ways, this emotional collapse ended the war before the guns did. Anna Richter later immigrated to the U.S. with her children. Her son Karl, the former Hitler Youth member, became an engineer for General Motors. He designed engines for the very type of vehicles that had once shocked him with their abundance. In a memoir, Anna reflected, "It wasn't just food. It was a glimpse of a different world, a different possibility. We had been told we were the master race, yet our supposed inferiors casually demonstrated a level of material abundance we could barely comprehend." The shock of that truth never left her. The realization we had been systematically deceived was more painful than hunger, more devastating than defeat. The field kitchens in Awen were instruments of truth, dismantling years of propaganda with irrefutable evidence of abundance. No ideological argument was as effective as that sensory reality. The smell of bacon drifting through bombed-out streets reshaped Germans' understanding of their enemies and themselves. Smell broke the spell. The smell of bacon revealed a truth no propaganda could hide. Germany was fighting an enemy who could afford to waste more than Germany could produce, and in that realization, the war ended long before the surrender.